Not only a witness, but a participant in the Watergate hearings. Former North Carolina Attorney General and Secretary of State Rufus Edmisten delivered the subpoenas to the White House that would eventually lead to Richard Nixon's resignation. Today, he reflected on that moment and shows me those very subpoenas in a story you'll only see right here on CBS 17.
It's the first time in history that a subpoena had been served on a president. And it has a list of all the characters that were around the president, including John Mitchell, John Dean, and over 2/3 of all the people on that list went to jail for lying to the Watergate committee.
Before Rufus Edmisten became North Carolina's Attorney General and Secretary of State, he served as the Deputy Chief Counsel of the Senate Watergate Committee while working for committee chair Senator Sam Ervin.
Here I was a barefoot boy from the mountains of North Carolina, and I had no idea that this would come down to serving a subpoena on a president for the first time in history by a committee of the Congress. I had no earthly idea how important this was.
When it came time to subpoena the White House for both witnesses and the Nixon tapes, it was Edmisten who delivered the order. He remembers it vividly, but also with a little bit of humor.
Nobody knew the procedure because it had never been done, and so I studied up on how to deliver a subpoena. Was ushered down there by the Capitol Hill police, and my mother said, well, at least you were in the back seat of a police car this time for a good reason.
Both subpoenas are now safely stored in Edmisten's Raleigh office. He says North Carolina Senator Ervin took complete charge of the investigation.
And Ervin was so respected that when he would speak, they would listen, although they might not agree in the Nixon administration. They knew that he meant business. One time he said, if they do not obey this subpoena, I will send the sergeant at arms down to arrest them and lock them up in the basement of the Capitol.
Edmisten has some advice as we begin the Senate trial of President Trump.
I think that both sides need to quieten down and run this thing like a trial and stop all the press briefings. And that way, nobody's going to be convinced to change their mind when you use that kind of reasoning.
He says the American people deserve better.
Impeachment and the trial process under the Constitution are inherently a political process, but they have to have a little bit of semblance of law about it to make it orderly and make it believable for the American public.
That is so fascinating, and wow, what a man he is.
I do want to tell you, too, one quick funny part about this. Do you know what the biggest complaint they got, though, during the Watergate hearings?
What?
That the soap operas were being preempted.
I think we have that problem here sometimes, too, don't we?
The Price is Right, right?
Very fascinating, though,
Thanks.
Russ. Well, $500 million